Okay, so if I load up spfc.jar, okay, then we get up this screen which lets us pick the template background we want, and that brings up the main application. We just resize it to fit the whole thing in. You can zoom in and out with the mouse wheel, with the zoom tool if you don't have a mouse wheel on the PC you're using. You can also scale that if you need more space for the views. Start with the entry tool, put some entries here. Gives each a number, and you're just left clicking twice, and then the midpoint will be used as the origin for pedestrian flow. Next we use obstacles, basically place these over anywhere that's not walkable. Polygon one, again it's just left clicks and then eventually you right click to seal the object. There are other types of objects you've got here, line, oval and rectangle, but generally polygon is the one you want to use because you can do any shape. This can take a while to do all these buildings, so I made one previously which will just load up now. Okay, so you can see here that it's entries as before, but I've just done all the obstacles. Okay, from here, just drag this up quickly. And that's when I set the width. This is basically just the width from there to there of the actual template. So it's going to be 65 meters from what I read off Google Image Scale. And then here it's just the number of pedestrians that move between each entrance combination. So I have to just start putting in some random values. You can do both, but it just sums up entry 1, 2 and exit 1, 2 to make the path width. Next, if I load the settings, we can just have a look at the model settings. Guideline number is the one specified in the brief, but it can be changed as required. I'm just using a lower one than I think it was 30 or 40 specified in the brief. Basically, the number of pedestrians per minute in a corridor. Minimum node radius is the minimum radius of a node that will automatically cull any which are below that. Node radius offset is a value that we add to the radius of nodes. The small and large node filter radius are values we use to decide which nodes that we keep. If I hover over here, you should be able to see that down here it lists the exact formula used to decide. And then here we have 3 options for how we're going to route the nodes. For the time being, we'll stick with this one, as this is the one that prevents the path overlap where possible, which is what was specified. So I'll save this and click Run. You can see here it ticks through generating the nodes. Effectively what it's doing is for each pixel it's iterating around it in a circle until it hits the edge of the image or one of these blue obstacles that we drew. So in this space it'll take much longer for every pixel because it's going to be much bigger than on these where it'll be like instantly, first try it'll be we're on an obstacle. Again, that's going to take a while. It takes about 3.5 minutes on my PC. So if I cancel that and load another one I did. Okay, so now we've got it with the paths. Each of these yellow circles is the nodes that we've generated. The intersection of these nodes gives us a graph which we can use to navigate using Dijkstra's algorithm to find the shortest path. And once we've got the shortest path, we create control points at the center of each node, and then a natural cubic curve is drawn through them. I haven't currently implemented the part to block them from going backwards before going forwards, but I will do at some point. To prevent the paths from overlapping, it basically tries to calculate how far it needs to push it out when parallel, which you get that effect. And where they're not quite parallel, it does try, but you can see it fails there. It should be possible to add manual removal of control points if they get to unacceptable points like this, basically, and you need them closer. It'll still be much quicker than doing it manually, I would have thought. Basically, from here we can go back into settings, I think. Then we've got colour settings here. Basically, if you click the colour bit, you can pick a new colour. I'll just change obstacles to a dark green that is translucent. And I save that, and it's changed. Okay. Okay, so paths basically change this, and it will iterate through the colours of paths. So first path 1, 2, 3, so on, and if you have more than 8 paths, it will go back to the first path. You can just add this if you want more colours. And render settings let you decide what you'll draw in case you want an image like that. Just you got the background and the paths. Probably worth pointing out these little spiky bits of path because of control points that have ended up really close. So to fix that, you'd want to regenerate it with lower node radius. Now, if I quickly go back into render setting, well, model settings even, and change it to root row intersections, it should, in theory, update much quicker. Yep, because it hasn't had to regenerate the nodes, so it's been able to just go and reroute, which is the really quick part of the operation. But it's not preventing overlap, but it does create more natural paths, in my opinion. But again, here, small nodes has caused them to break a little. And then we can export these pictures as well. You can also save the session, which will save all the details on. It's how I've been loading to skip the long extended sequences. So if I just want to export an image, I can just say my test, and it should default to PNG. And if I load my documents, my test PNG is there, and that opens there. Full size, you can just drag up and down. And yeah, you can zoom in and out as you need. It does only zoom on the actual image, so. And that should be about it, I think. Okay. If you have any other questions, you can just email me with the email I'll put below.